processing and the shipping of food into one building. So I've really learned so much about the huge array of grassroots solutions to climate change. And the last thing I want to say is that no matter how these negotiations go, I will always have hope, because there are tons of people who are taking the lead in their own lives and working on solutions to climate change. And I've been very lucky to be part of that, and to be able to motivate myself by learning more about what these great people are doing. So thanks.
Merci tellement, Audrey et Malcolm. So that's a little bit of what's going on in North America, and I find this very exciting and empowering personally as a young person. But I think more powerful than that, as a North American, is hearing about the initiatives that are going on elsewhere. And so to present us a little bit of that aspect of things, we've got two young people from the South Asian Youth Coalition. So we've got Abhishek Shrestha, who is working as a strategic member for Nepalese Youth for Climate Action, and he's one of the core team members of the South Asian Youth Climate Action Network. And we've also got Vasita Wijanayake, who's a legal researcher from Sri Lanka, and she's also executive coordinator of Sri Lankan Youth Climate Action Network and a coordinator for the South Asian Youth Climate Action Network. So they're going to come up and talk to us a little bit about the evolution of the South Asian movement.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be talking about the South Asian Youth Climate Movement. Good morning, everyone. I'll be talking about the South Asian Youth Climate Movement. How did the South Asian Youth Climate Movement started? And talking about the South Asia. South Asia includes 8 different countries, and it's Nepal, India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, Afghanistan, and Sri Lanka. And this region is one of the most vulnerable region, and it's a diverse region. Like it includes mountainous country like Nepal and Bhutan, and we can also find like low-lying and coastal country like Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh too. So you can see here the map of South Asia, and the major problem in South Asia regarding the climate change is that the climate change is impacting the Himalayan glacier in the South Asian region, and the Himalayan glacier provides water to 1.5 billion people of South Asia. That's 1/4 of the world population. And then there's like a country like Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, where we are having the problems like sea level rise and salt intrusion. And then beside that, South Asia is also having the problem of food security and agriculture problem, and the major economy for the South Asian country is like agriculture. So it's like the climate change is impacting in the agriculture, so it's like impacting in the economy of in those countries as well. So here we can see the photographs of different actions and campaigning that South Asian youth have done so far. We can see the events from Nepal, India, and Bangladesh. On the top left, we can see the event that Nepalese youth organized, to take the issue of the climate change to different people like celebrity, politicians, so that we can take the issue of the climate change to different people who can make influence in the society. And then on the top right, you can see that we organize like 350 10 global work party, that the youth in the South Asia are also ready for the bringing the change. And then on the left, you can see that the Indian youth organize like a solar, they organize like a clean vehicle tour, that they organize this tour throughout the India, that with the message that we need to go for the clean energy. And then you can see the on the bottom right, you can see the campaign that the Bangladeshi youth did back in their country in Bangladesh. So I'll be talking now about the first South Asian Youth Summit on climate change. So from where the South Asian youth movement started. Earlier we had there was a coalition for the South Asian NGOs and for the government, but there was not any South Asian youth coalition, and there was no anything working on the climate change before. But the Nepalese youth planned for having a South Asian Youth Summit on climate change. We should have a South Asian youth united in one platform, and then we need to bring the South Asian voice to our government and in the international arena too. So we started working for the South Asian Youth Summit on climate change, and we organized the first South Asian Youth Summit on climate change with the other youth from our region, and then the first South Asian Youth Summit brought 80 youths from all over the South Asian countries that we had. We are lucky that we had youth from all the South Asian youth countries, even in Afghanistan. It's very hard to find Afghanistani youth to get involved in the climate change issue because they do have lots of other issues to tackle. So the South Asian Youth Summit ended up with a South Asian Declaration on climate change, and then we gave the South Asian Youth Declaration to the government delegates from all the South Asian countries in Bangkok and Barcelona Climate Talk, and even in COP15 in Copenhagen last year. And then the first South Asian Youth Summit, we formed the South Asian Youth Climate Action Network during the first South Asian Youth Summit, and then along with that, and during the when we organized the first South Asian Youth Summit, there were a youth climate coalition only in 2 countries. That was one in Nepal, and one was in India. And there were youth movement was starting in other countries. But after the South Asian Youth Summit on climate change, we had a youth coalition in all the countries. The youth coalition started in Bangladesh, in Bangladesh, in Maldives, Maldivian Youth Climate Network, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bhutan, and in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, there was already a Sri Lankan Youth Climate Action Network, but they were not so active. But the South Asian Youth Summit inspired them to get more active, and then they were pretty more active after the first South Asian Youth Summit on climate change. Here you can see the group photo of the South Asian Youth Summit on climate change. And this was the top left picture is that we had panel discussion of all the South Asian youth, and similar to model COP, similar to what happens in COP, we did similar to that during the South Asian Youth Summit on climate change. And these are the existing network in the South Asian region. You can see Nepalese Youth for Climate Action, Indian Youth Climate Network, Maldivian Youth Climate Network, Sri Lankan Youth Climate Network, Bangladesh Youth Movement for Climate Change, Pakistan Youth Climate Network, Bhutanese Youth for Climate Action, and Afghani Youth for Social Development. And you can see here the photographs of the involvement of the South Asian youth in different events. You can see the Afghani youth working on the plantation of trees, and then you can see the second Nepalese Youth Summit. The second Nepalese Youth Summit brought more than 100 youth from all over Nepal. And then you can see the campaign that we had in Nepal, that Stop Melting, Life Save the Himalayas, where we organized a big concert in Nepal where there were more than 10,000 people in that concert. And South Asian youth participation in COP started from the Bangkok Climate Talk, where we had around 15 South Asian youth delegates in Bangkok. And from the Bangkok intercession, South Asian youth started to raise the mountain issue, because I earlier mentioned that the major issue for the South Asian region is one is the mountain, and another is the coastal region. And then from Bangkok Climate Talk, we started to have a mountain action, and then we went to do the mountain action in Barcelona and in Copenhagen, and also we signed the mountain pledge. We made a mountain pledge, and the mountain pledge was signed by 26 countries that mentioned that the mountain issues should be prioritized in the climate negotiations. And we are also planning to, and we are also having the mountain actions in December 4, and then we are also having a sea level rise actions on December 7. So that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Avi. Unfortunately, I don't have any photographs to show you, but I'll be telling a story of what happened from where Avi Sheikh stopped. After 2009 Copenhagen, we decided that we should continue with the South Asian Summit so that we could have all the youth from South Asia coming together to discuss what should be done for 2010. So we organized the South Asian Youth Summit, which was the second one in Colombo, Sri Lanka. That happened that happened on the 28th to the 30th of October. That was about a couple of weeks ago. And we were initially planning to have it with all the youth from all over South Asia, but unfortunately we had funding issues this year, and we had other political issues as well. So we were unable to get the African youth to come as well as the Bhutanese youth to come. But what happened was, initially we were a core team of one national network, which was based in one country, which represented Sri Lanka through Sri Lankan Youth Climate Action Network, Bangladesh through Bangladesh Youth Climate Action Network, India through IYCN, Indian Youth Climate Action Network, Maldives Youth Climate Action Network, Pakistan Youth Climate Action Network, Nepalese Youth for Climate Action, Bhutanese Youth for Climate Action, and Afghan Youth for Social Development. But what we wanted to do was not to have one autonomous organization for one country, but give more possibility for youth who are interested in climate change to participate in the South Asian movement. So we opened it up for anyone who was interested to come as applicants. And this year we had representation from different organizations. So we were able to put up a democratic process in South Asian Youth Network, and we actually came up with three main things that we wanted to focus on, which were the South Asian climate policy, communications within the countries, so we would be able to share our objectives and our goals and then our projects among each other, and the organization building. Because although we were calling ourselves the South Asian Youth Network, we were based with focal points which were communicating, but we were not pretty much active in our countries per se among other organizations. So we wanted to build our organizations to have more inclusivity with other networks